Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch. If you are new, welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play, and I hope you like what you see. You'll hit like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and feel free to reach out for questions, comments, observations, suggestions, you name it. I love it. And my returning viewers know I love it, and I love you. Thank you so much for coming back each week or whenever you can. I know things get busy and maybe you miss me a few weeks, but thank you so much for watching and supporting my Stitchy channel and being a part of my Stitchy life. I really appreciate it quite a bit. In the glasses saga, we're still working on it. Today I'm trying the reading glasses and seeing how they work while I am videotaping. I think I'll be able to see everything okay. And I can talk about the saga at the end for those of you not interested in life stuff. But I'm trying these out. We'll see how they work. I'll get it right one of these days. Yeah. So anyway, let's talk some stitching. First off, you know that I like to talk about a Flosstube friend who might be watching me, who is watching me and supports my channel, and I'd like to support them as well. So this week I wanted to talk about Dottie from Stitching Scotty. Dottie is from South Carolina, or she is in South Carolina, I should say, and she's really fun to watch. She has got, I think she's got 30-something videos. I think she started last year around Halloween, because I believe her first video was kind of a Halloween kind of retrospective type of thing of some stitches. Okay, I'm clearly having trouble talking this morning. So Dottie has been stitching for many years. So in her videos, you will see past finishes. It's kind of cool to see what she's done and where she's been with her stitching, as well as current stitching. And I know right now she's got Stitching with the Housewives, some stitching happening. I know she's doing Stitching Book Club, and I just like, I just think she's a lot of fun. So if you would like to check out Dottie's channel, I will link her down below in the description box. You know, I link everything down below, or give info or whatever. And if I forget, just reach out to me if there's something I talked about and I didn't give the info. I'd be happy to send it to you. So yeah, that's that. Today is clearly, it was kind of an off week, and it started last weekend, and apparently I'm still, I think it's sleep. My sleep has been completely off. Started last weekend again, and my brain's a little bit mushy, so. And whose allergies are back? Mine. So I took a little bit of stuff this morning, hoping that I won't sniffle through the video. It was beautiful last night, so I said, let's eat dinner outside, you know, it's so nice. And I made it about 15 minutes, and then all of a sudden, all that head allergy stuff. So me and Kleenex, we're friends. We're very good friends again. So I think my head's a little foggy with that too, because I can feel all the stuff happening. So anyway, I will do my best, but you know, I'm a little scattered at the best of times anyway, so it's just the way it is. I have 2 finishes. I did it. I didn't think I wasn't sure I'd have any, but I buckled down on a couple pieces, and especially one. Didn't have too much to do. And then I have some in progress pieces to show you, and I have a new start, which I'm rethinking now, but I want to show you and talk about my dilemma and the saga with that. So anyway, let's start with finishes. So my first finish comes from this magazine, the 2020 Just Cross Stitch Halloween. I think people have the new one. I haven't, it's on my wish list. I have not ordered it yet, but I definitely will. I probably watch flip throughs. I'm okay with, I'm not one that doesn't like to see spoilers or whatever. I'm cool with that. So I know there's some people that have done flip throughs, so I might check that one out. But this one, it has some cute stuff in it, so I think I would buy the 2021. This is what I stitched. It's called Caydo Lantern from Misty Pursel. And this is the last time I have to show it, so I don't need to keep the bookmark that I just kept in there each week. This is what we got. So that's how it is finished. This is done on 18 count vanilla latte from Bestitchme. A great, wonderful neutral that could be used for so many things. And did I change anything? The only thing I changed is nothing. Actually, yes, it is. That's wrong. The black. I would have changed the black to anchor. It's charted in, and I'm looking at it right here. Either at Gentle Arts, but you know I use the DMC alternatives, so obviously she had given 310 as an option, and I went with the anchor black. And that's it. So I was really, really close. I had just a couple more of these fill-ins. Yesterday morning, I just buckled down and said, that's it. You literally only needed a strand, half a strand of each of those colors. So I got it done. My goal was to finish this one by the end of July, and I did it. And this, I can hashtag it Spooky Summer Stitch and be part of that summer Halloween stitching fun. So yeah, that's that one. All right, the other one had a little bit more work to do, but I finally said to myself, enough is enough. I started this back in April. I shouldn't still have it in July. So I'm talking about the May Cottage from Country Cottage Needleworks. I'm so close. I think I have 3 more months left. So it was just time to sit down, get this one out, stitch it, finish it. I did not stitch. There's a lot of bumblebees all over it. I didn't stitch those. A lot of times with these, I do pull out, especially when they add a lot of stuff down in the border, top and bottom border. I just pull them out. I'm a little bit more of a minimalist kind of girl sometimes, so that's what I did. And this is what it is. So this is done on the back side of Vintage Country Mocha, 18 count. And I really just needed to focus on the bottom border. I did all of that. I had a little back stitch in the bird to finish. Oops, bird's over here. And pretty much that was it. So I talked about, I do think, and I don't know if I have any, I do think I want to pull out the blues for the background fabric on this one and get that one done up, because you know these are all being finished for like a yearly set of pieces for my mom. And at that point then, I think I know I have November to do. For some reason, I think I skipped it because I was closer to December at that point. And then I have a few from the beginning of the year, maybe March and April. So that might be it. So I really do need to buckle down and get those done. You get kind of at the point where with the yearly, I can see that where there's a little bit of yearly fatigue, where they're really cute and they're fun to stitch, but as the year goes on and you're doing them, you're kind of almost done with them. So I need to just buckle down and do that so that I can get it done. Those are my 2 finishes. Super excited. They're small. I don't have anything big close to a finish yet. I'm working on it. I'm getting there, but it'll take time. I think what I'll do is I'm looking back now. One of my older unfinished pieces for 2021 was the May Cottage. So I'm going back through now my 2021. I have a little book that I put starts and finishes in and stuff. And except for big pieces, which I know, like the full coverage, they're not getting done anytime soon. But pieces that are completable within this year, I'm going back and I'm looking, and I'm on to April. Anything small that was started in January, February, March is done. So now I'm pulling out and looking at the book and seeing and pulling back some of those so that I can get things done in between working on the bigger pieces, because I don't want them to just get scattered by the wayside. So I guess that's my plan, sort of plan, pseudo plan going forward. Now, let me show you my first piece. I have 4 pieces, 3 serious ones. Well, they're all serious, but 3 that you would have seen. Then the 4th one I pulled out from a little while ago. This one is from Stone Street Stitch That's what their Etsy name is. Stone Street Stitchworks they might be otherwise, but Stone Street Stitch is their Etsy name, and I'll link them. And Cobblestone Crossing. That's the one I'm working on. I love this one. I always liked those kind of lantern looks. So I thought, oh, as soon as I saw this. And I don't know if I'm stitching the year. I will do everything else, and then I will make a decision from there and see what I think. Let me fold this over because you don't need all that extra fabric. This is done on 18 count Old West from Color and Cotton. And that's what we have. What I'm doing at the moment is I'm doing the one color. It's basically all the outline of the lantern and the outline of the picture in general. And it's so much fun because I just keep pulling out the one color and adding some strands. And this will get all filled in eventually. Just haven't gotten there yet. This is done with, instead of 310, I did change out and put Anchor Black. I am no expert. I just feel like the coverage on Anchor Black is a little bit better. So what I do is I keep it in my wish list on 123 Stitch, and then every time I make an order, I just throw in like 5 or 6, and that way I keep having extra so I won't run out, because I don't have it anywhere locally, so I do have to get it online. And this way it'll tell me if they're out of stock, if it's on my wish list. But this is so much fun. This pattern is fantastic to stitch if you have thought about it. They are great. Their patterns are so easy to read, and I would really recommend it. And I'm really liking it on this shade. You know, I don't do a ton on neutrals, although I pick and choose. But I think their patterns, there's something about a neutral with their patterns that just really draws me. So I do try to stick a lot of times with the more neutrals with their patterns. They have a certain color palette, and it works with these. So that's that one. A lot of fun. If you are stitching it, let me know. I'd love to see what you're doing it on and how it looks and everything else. Whether you have an Instagram, whether you want to just send me pictures. Sometimes people just send me pictures through the Gmail account, which I love. I love to see the progress of your projects. Or if you're showing them on Flosstube, if you have a channel yourself, let me know so I can see them. The next one. So that's Christmas. I did more Christmas this July than I thought I would. I went into it saying, yeah, I'll do Christmas in July and all that good stuff. And then as July came up, I was like, I was loving the beach stuff. I was loving my projects, which I still keep in. But I found myself starting some Christmas, and I'm okay with that. I like it. I'm not focusing just on Christmas, but I'm throwing it in there. So I think it's working. The hybrid sort of model there is working for me. That's the new word, as we're talking about. Mo's company is talking about back to the office, because they have been out of the office since March of 2020, and hybrid plans are the new thing. They're a fairly progressive company, and they most definitely are not saying everybody has to come back. They are exploring hybrid models, and that will look different for everybody. So that's super exciting for him, because that was his goal, was eventually to work it completely remote. It might not be 100% that way at the beginning, but they're very good about it. Long and short though, the word hybrid is now in my brain, so that's how I'm using it. Prairie Schooler 2021. I did last year's. That was the first one I've done. So I started in 2019. I didn't see these in 2019. I don't even know. So I'm slowly going back, and eventually I'll pick and choose which ones I want to do. Here he is. He has a face now. He is done on 18 count Jade. Fold it over from Picture This Plus. I did last year's on the same fabric. I haven't even cut it yet because clearly I haven't done anything with them. And I do like the Prairie Schooler colors for these Santas, and it seems to be a similar formula for them. So I do like them on here. Now, I did change his face. Prairie Schooler's faces are very, very pink. And so what I did was I changed the face color. Instead of, I want to say his face was charted to be 407. So what I did instead was I put 3864 for his face, and then I used the 407 for his cheeks and just never used the color for the cheeks, because then that would have been like a really pinky, bright melony pink. So that's what I did. Other than that, I am not changing any of the other colors. Everything else is called for. Unless they use, I don't know if they use any 310. No, it doesn't look like it. So there won't be any change there. But yeah, so this is the same change I made for the face last year. So I looked it up, did the same change. And so that way they kind of all have the same vibe. So there he is. He's coming along nicely. Slowly, but nicely. So that's that one. Now, you know I couldn't give up all of my stitches that weren't Christmas, all my beachy stitches. And graceful I am not. No one will ever accuse me of being graceful. Silver Creek Samplers, one of my favorites. Taking It Easy is the one I'm working on right now. Good thing I was not named Grace. I would not have lived up to my namesake at all. So anyway, that's what that is. And this is where I am. I stitched the girl. I got the girl done this week. So there you go. This is done on an 18 count Serene from Picture This Plus, which I love. I am loving this color. It very much is Serene. I find it, at least. I think it's really well named. I did change, not my original idea, but the colors are 153 and 553. So her dress is completely different. It was charted in, there's two blues here. It was charted in those two blues. And I had seen it like this, loved it. And I like purple. I love purple. I don't have it anymore. When I was in kindergarten, you had to write a book, you know, your favorite color. And I rhapsodized about purple, apparently. And I think we had it for the longest time. My mom had a whole bunch of things, you know, from when I was in school. But a few moves ago, I think everything ended up probably thrown out. I don't know. Their attic was packed. So sadly, I no longer have my purple book, my kindergarten purple book, but I do still love purple. So I decided that was definitely what I wanted to go with this one. The seagull will have to be done in a kind of gray, so I'm still working on that. I don't even know if I haven't even pulled out the white yet. I got to take that out and redo that. And then we're just plugging along. So this one's a lot of fun. I will definitely keep it up. Okay, now, so those are the three that you had seen recently and we were doing. You know, in the last couple weeks, I had started the full coverage Christmas Tales from the Easy Stitch. And I love it. I love the finished look of it. What I have realized is it's very, 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 at least where I am, confetti heavy. It's almost like every square is almost like a different color. I need to check the chart and see if the whole thing is like that, because then I have to make a decision if I'm ready to commit to a big chart like that. I'm hoping there are chunks of color as I go farther along. So I'll look and see. But what I found, what was so interesting, was perspective. So that was not my first full coverage. That's my second one. I started my first full coverage, maybe April, I don't remember. And I remember stitching it thinking, oh, wow, we're changing colors a decent amount. This will take a while. But I was enjoying it, so it was fine. But then I wanted to start the Christmas one, so I did. Well, this week I had kept out Christmas Tales because, you know, with all the colors, I just kept everything out. And I sat down 2 different days during the week, at the beginning of the week, and I gave it an hour each day. And I got a little frustrated just because an hour, and I'd only get a couple stitches in, because you literally, it would be 1 or 2 stitches here, then here, then here. And I was changing colors and changing this and that. and I wasn't really enjoying it at the moment. So I said, I need to put this aside, take a break. But I was enjoying the idea of full coverage. So I pulled out my very first full coverage, and let me show you that one. That is, oops, wrong one. This is an Etsy store called Maxispatterns, and I'll link her down below. And it's called Ocean Village 1. A lot of her patterns are these kind of muted tones. And she's got everything from landscape to still life to art to flowers. But you will see a lot of this muted tone. That's the style that she likes to work in. And I think she takes things and gets permission to chart them, is my understanding. But I really enjoyed that. I'm not far along on this. I am starting up here in this corner, so there's not a lot of color to see yet. But I wanted to show it to you and just chat about my observations. So this is, I didn't iron it. I know, I iron everything. I just decided I wanted to show you how I'm working on it, and I just didn't feel like taking it apart. So that's all I've got so far. But when I pulled it back out, I was amazed. It isn't confetti, this one. There is, if you grab a strand, there's a decent amount that you can work in and get that strand done. So I have to say, this one is going to be my full coverage for now, because I really do enjoy filling in and finding the spots, and I know things will start to flesh out a little bit the more I do. And it isn't as difficult as I thought it was when I went with one that was not just littered with confetti. I stitch in hand, and I still stitch these in hand. Now this is not as big as some of the giant Heaven and Earth designs. Let me see if I can see on the description if it says. I know it says somewhere, but I don't know if I can find it. 300 by 300. So it's not as big as some of your other Heaven and Earths where I'd have a ton of extra fabric. So I don't know if I could do it in that case. But what I did was I just took one of those magnety things, folded it over, and that way it's very easy for me to hold loosely this area, because I stitch left-handed. So I hold with my right and I stitch lefty. And I am really liking that idea. So I wanted to show that. I got a package of these from Amazon. I put them on my Kringles pattern as well, which has not seen the light of day in a while, sad to say. And it holds my fabric nicely that way as well. So I do like that. And I know a lot of people love them if you have extra fabric for, is it Q-snaps and things like that. So I'm finding these are quite useful. Most old some of them from me to actually do cords with it, which is what they're originally for, but I still have some, and I do like that. This is the white 18 count Caydo, C-A-Y-D-O fabric that I got from Amazon. It is not as stiff as the general white fabric that you'll get, the white Aida, and it has loosened up. It started off a little stiffer, but since I've been using it, it has loosened up a bit. So it is definitely not the hard, stiff Aida that gets a bad rap sometimes. It is in between, I would say. It's not as soft as, say, a Picture This Plus, but I am really liking it. And I'm still doing my 18 count. I am doing, what does everybody say? I'm doing 2 strands, full cross. I think that's how you say it. I'm still learning all the full coverage stuff. So this is where I am on that one, and I am really, really enjoying this. I wouldn't show this probably every week just because I don't know how much I'll get done in a week, but I do want to get back to this and work on this one and see what I can do and see what kind of progress I can make. So I will show that one periodically, especially if it looks like I have something to show. So that's it for those works in progress. And then I have one new start, which I think might be a restart at some point. So it was the Christmas Eve from Prairie Schooler, and I have thoughts. I have thoughts about this one. I love the pattern. I've stitched, actually last year, 2 years ago, I think, I stitched this little guy. Enjoyed it thoroughly. But I always liked this pattern, and you know I have a thing for Santas and his sleigh over houses. I don't know. So I pulled it out. I showed you all my different blues. You all were right about the really dark blue. It's beautiful, but the flosses weren't showing on it. And then I put it on the other, I threw the flosses on the other blues, and I think it would have worked with either. But a couple of you had made a great point that Prairie Schooler is usually more subdued colors, so maybe the one that was a little bit more subdued would look good. And I agreed. Threw the flosses on there and started. I'm not loving it, and I don't think it would have been any better on the other blue. So this is what I have. Not much, but I did want to get a start. The dark colors look fine. I have no problem with that. But what I have a problem with is the charting versus what you see. So somebody had asked me, so I'll show you actually while I'm here. Let me pull out all the paraphernalia. Somebody asked me how I store my flosses when I'm doing a project. That's it. That's how I store them. All my projects are in Ziploc bags, except I have been gifted 3 gorgeous, lovely project bags. So those have special places in my in my rotation. But then everything else has this. So I use DMC. I keep it pretty much on the spool. I used to bobbinate. I looked. I found a container back when I started 30 years ago. I think it could be longer, but I'm not going to count. That sounds fine. 30 years ago. And I bobbinated everything because I found some actually. But I just haven't felt like I wanted to commit to that. So I pretty much keep them in there. I pull off some strand, I fold it over that, and then as I need it, I undo it, and then I pull some more if I need it. And they all, because I use DMC, I do find that I get, each project has their own set of DMCs because I always buy it with a coupon. It's very affordable for me that way, and I slowly build up. And then I have extras now, so I pull from the extras and so on and so forth. So that's how I do my floss. But I wanted to show you the charted DMC for this, and it is charted in DMC, is this. It's 815. That is nowhere near that color. So when I started this, I said, that is a totally different red, and do I want that color red? I didn't, so I chose this. But what I found was when I changed some of the colors, it's not necessarily going to have the vibe of this fabric. The other one, they had charted all the greens in this, $8.95, which is totally different than the greens in the pattern. So you can see that's what it was charted in. And then I changed it because that follows the picture more. But again, those other colors aren't necessarily singing on this fabric. And that's my dilemma. Either way, this fabric's not going to work. If I change the colors, I don't think it's going to work. And I don't want to keep the charted colors necessarily, which I think would work better with this, but I don't want to do that. So I was thinking, I recently, and I'm going to do a floss toss. I recently had gotten, was it last month's, was my very first month fabric of the month from Fortnite Fabrics. And they had one that was like a pinky beige. I'm wondering how that will look. I'm going to throw the flosses on there and see, which is somewhat similar. I don't know what this was done on. I'd have to look in the, let me see in the book. You know, I generally don't do fabric. Santa and Sleigh. Sage. That doesn't even look like sage. Wow. I generally a lot of times don't do the called for, but I think because of my dilemma working back and forth between either their called for DMCs or changing the colors, my plan for the darker opal will not work. Now, you know, I have 4 at the moment that I know of, Santas and Sleighs. So these will get used. The blues will get used when I figure out which ones want to go on what. So I'm not worried about that, but I don't think this one is necessarily going to work for me. and I haven't even done all the colors yet. I know the smoke coming out of the chimneys is charted as this green, or one of the greens. I'm like, that doesn't work, so that's got to get changed. So I don't know if I will redo it this week. I might give this a break, pull out the fabrics, figure out flosses, and maybe restart this one around the holidays. We'll see. But I purposely did not cut the fabric because I wasn't 100% sure. There was something telling me not, so I can easily rip this out and reuse this fabric. So if you've stitched this, I know, Cameron, I know you're doing it on ivory, and I can't wait to see what you're doing. But anybody else who's stitched this, if you're planning on it, let me know what you're doing with it. And are you keeping all the colors? And if I find another one I like, I could very well keep all the colors. I want to pull out my finished piece of this guy because I'm pretty sure I would have used the called fors then, because that was really early when I was back to stitching. I probably just kept everything the way it was. So we'll see. So that's my start, but I think it's going to go for a while away and restart it. So it sort of counts as a start, but not really. And that's it for stitching. That's all I've had this week. I think that's good. That's good enough. I got some happy mail. So it's so funny. I wasn't... Megan went out to get the mail because she had seen the mail truck, and I was in another room. I said, hey, what's there? Anything good for mail? Which there generally isn't. We're lucky if we get a piece of throwaway mail or a bill. That's about it. And I knew I wasn't really expecting anything. And Megan's like, oh, there's a package for you. And I knew there wasn't necessarily anything coming. Well, I got some happy mail, which is super, super exciting. So I wanted to show you. And it came from Coffee Craft Fabrics. And I meant to look up how to say, is it Gemma? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm hoping it is. I'm hoping. A lot of times if I'm not sure, I Google like how to phonetically say something. And I meant to this morning, and then my brain just completely forgot about it. So I apologize if I didn't say your name right. That's my guess. I follow somebody on Instagram, and that's her name, and I think that's how she says it. So I'm going with it. But she sent me some fabrics, hence the name Coffee Craft Fabrics. She is actually out of the UK, and she dyes fabrics, and she has a Facebook group, which I will let you know about in just a minute. So she had a couple pieces of 18 count that she sent to me. I'm super excited. Look at this. And again, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the table there. This one is wonderfully, wonderfully variegated. The camera will pick it up heavier than it is. So right here, you're saying, wow, that's really dark. And it is darker than everything else, but in person, it matches so much better, and it flows from light to dark better than, I always find the camera picks up those variations, and not just me, when I watch other people, so much stronger than what they potentially are in real life. So that is so pretty. And it's funny because I opened up the mail and I opened it up just to look at it, and Mo said, ooh, that's pretty. And he doesn't really notice those things. So, so that's the first one. And let me get everything all nicely put. And I had the little note. She had sent it, and I put a little note so I know that it's Coffee Craft Fabrics. And this is also another 18 count. Look at how pretty this is. That is so nice. I have to find, oh, I'm thinking maybe something floral would look really nice on this. I don't know. I'm going to go through my patterns and see what I have. But this is really, really pretty. And I can't wait to give this one a try too. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Put a smile on my face, your lovely note, and happy mail when I wasn't expecting anything mail-wise. It was such a nice surprise. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, Coffee Craft Fabrics. I will link it down below. They have a Facebook page and a group you can join, and I, of course, joined. And did just a quick look around. I joined late this week, and I haven't had a lot of computer, like sit down, just computer time to just play. And but I did a quick look, looked at comments, and I know they do some types of boxes where you get, say, 2 fabrics in one size, 2 in another, 2 in another, or whatever amount. And I've noticed people in the comments can say what count they would like, and so on and so forth. And they do ship, I believe, to the US and Canada for sure. I don't know if they do worldwide. And that was I haven't really done a box yet. So I haven't really explored that. I know a lot of you do Bestitchme's boxes, but I haven't really done any boxes. So I'm still not sure about that. But they also, in the media section, if you looked at pictures, they have different counts, and you click on, and sometimes there's something there and sometimes there's not. And if there's something available, they show the exact picture. So whatever it is you're buying, that's exactly what it would look like. So each one they take a picture of separately, and you can just go in and ask to get it, type of thing. It's a lot of fun, and I am excited to explore their site a little bit more, and I will link them if you would like to join them as well. And there are so many really talented hand dyers for fabric. And I know a lot of people say, hey, you should try it, it's easy. I'm a disaster waiting to happen when it comes with certain things. Like Mo hates when I use glitter, because, you know, glitter. But things like dyes that can stain and things like that, not a great idea. Not a great idea. I already have ink from stamping all over half my clothes, and I'll spend days with inks all over my fingers. So I am perfectly happy to let others explore with hand dyeing, and so I'll support them that way by buying some of their fabrics. There's many things I will try, but I'm pretty sure that's one I'm just gonna stay away from, so that my house is not a disaster, my clothes are not a disaster, and I'm just not a disaster. I have coffee tea dyed. I have done that, and that one worked out okay, but I'm not sure from there what, I'm not sure it's a good idea, anything more than that. Shopping. I have zero to show you, zero. I bought some white Aida because I keep looking at these full coverage charts, and I'm like, oh, I like that one, I like that one, I like that one. So on the off chance that I might buy something, I have my Aida ready to go. I wouldn't have the flosses, but at least I'd have the Aida. You don't need to see a big piece of just white Aida. I got that. And then the other thing I bought was basically, I went in and kind of for this week's shopping, or I don't really have I don't set myself a specific budget or goal, but, you know, I watch. If I bought a bunch, then I don't, and, you know, it kind of ebbs and flows. So there's no, I'm sure it equals out to something, but I don't really pay attention that closely. But I also kind of watch my orders. So this week, I made an order for just giveaway stuff. So everything that came in that package was stuff that will be used as eventual giveaways. And that was it. So I'm not showing that yet because it's all a surprise. And that was it. That was all the shopping I did. I think I might have a fabric of the month coming. I don't know when it's coming. And maybe I think there's something else too. So hopefully maybe next week I'll have something to show you. We'll see. Okay, giveaways. So giveaways, I have a couple things to do with giveaways. First off, last week, one of my winners picked her pattern, and it was so easy. Charting Creations, and I'll link them. If you ever think that there's a chart that, you know, you have a friend that absolutely, you think of them, and there's a way to buy it and send it as a random act of kindness. It was so easy. You buy it under that option. They ask you what email to send it to. Then you go through paying and so on and so forth. And it was easy. And I asked her to check back in with me, and she said she got it, no problem. It's amazing. So amazing. What a great idea. I wish more digital companies would do that, because it would be so nice to be able to do that and send something to somebody without asking, you know, I would like to gift this to somebody, all that. So anyway, I digress. My other winner, she went and she looked and she decided that they were a little bit too big for her. She got back to me right away and said, I would like to let somebody else win and not take that spot when I'm not sure if it would be something I would stitch. So thank you so much. If there's something you ever win and you're like, maybe not, just let me know. And then I can just re-choose somebody. So I kept my names. I always keep my names just in case. And so let me pull the second name, because you know I was going to do 2 winners for 2,000 subscribers. All right, put that down. So my new winner is, I think it's Kim, right? WY Attack 06. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that as one word or not. But congratulations. You get to go to Charting Creations. If you go in this top section of all of their stuff, pick a pattern, send me the link to the pattern, and tell me what email address you want me to send it to, because they'll be asking me that. And I will buy you the pattern and send it to you. Congratulations. So I will keep that over somewhere so I don't lose it. And know that, have fun shopping. Every time I go, I look and say, oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. And I like the one I sent last week. I was like, oh no, that's going to go on the wish list now. Because, you know, it's not like full coverage don't take forever to stitch. So anyway, congratulations. Now, this week's giveaway. I'm not going to take it out. You guys have all seen this one. You all have seen this one. It's To All a Good Night, Stitching with the Housewives. I loved hearing everybody's how long you've been stitching. So many of you, like me, started a long time ago, and then life gave you a break and you came back to it. And I am so grateful. I am so grateful. Whatever the impulse was to come back to it was exactly what I needed at the time I needed it. And it's been just exactly what I needed. All right, so this week's winner, Annette Snyder. Congratulations, Annette. You won. And To All a Good Night from the Housewives. I'm going to stick your name right in the package so I know that you are the winner. So if you could get back to me with your address, you can either send it to me through email, the Gmail account, or you can DM me on Instagram, and I will send this out to you. And that reminds me with Instagram. So sometimes I get people following me on Instagram, and if you are private, what I do is I look and I see if you're following way more people than follow you. In my mind, it seems to me like you want to keep your account private. If you like having stitchy people follow your account, but you wanted to keep it private for whatever reason, which is fantastic, you know, everybody has to be comfortable with what they put out there. Just let me know, because I'm not ignoring you. I'm not following you for whatever reason. But I never quite know sometimes when somebody has the private account, if they're doing it because they kind of just want to share with close friends and family, but they want to follow a lot of people, or if it's just, they just don't realize. So a lot of times, I may not refollow. And hey, just shoot me a line saying, you know, I'm private, but it's not like I don't accept from stitchy friends. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I am not ignoring accounts a lot of times. I just am not sure what you want, and I don't want to bother you with a request if you want to keep your account set very small type of thing. Okay, so that's that. This week's giveaway, these were 2 things that came in the package. I picked up some, you know, I like to do charts and I like to switch it up with either flosses or trims or whatever the case may be. This time it's some trims. So I went shopping at Vintage Needleworks and I picked up some more of her trim. Now, these are ones that I believe she dyes herself. Teresa dyes fabrics. She also, she dyes and sells fabrics. She has patterns that she's charted herself, plus others. She sells her own dyed trim, but she also does some lady dots. These, I believe, are hers. We have fuchsia and we have baby chick. How pretty are those? I thought they were kind of, this one's definitely like summery, you know, and this one I felt like was kind of a summery sort of pink as well. So I decided to put those two in. Oh, and look at the picture she's got on there. I stitched that not that long ago. This trim would look good if I was adding trim to that. But anyway, those are the two. So that's her, and I can link her. These are the colors. So for giveaways, there's two parts to the giveaway. Answer a question, which everybody can answer whether you want the giveaway or not. And if you want your name put into the giveaway, then you say a word. I'm going to tell you right now, the word is going to be trim, T-R-I-M. If you want me to put your name into the bowl, trim. That's the word that I will search for under all the comments when I do that part. But the question is for everybody. And I accidentally, the overall question is interesting to me. I wasn't looking to watch this, but the other morning, I don't know, whatever day it was this week, I was eating breakfast. I turned on the TV and they were showing the space launch. I mean, I guess they technically did go into space. So it's kind of, the rocket was on, well, it's not a runway. I don't know what it's called. It was on the thing and it was like T-minus whatever at this point. So I said, oh, I'll sit and watch this while I'm eating breakfast. That's fine. And part of me, I was nervous because I'm old enough that I remember vividly, I can still picture it in my mind, the Challenger. I was, I think, a senior in high school when they went up, and we watched it, and I remember, you know, the cheer, all of her family and the kids from the school when the teacher went up, and they were all there and they were all cheering and everything, and then you see it blow up, and it was just, it's just something that's in my head. And so I was kind of watching this, and I was thinking, okay, one of the people on there is the same age as my father-in-law. She's, you know, 80, low 80s, and then the young kid, he's the age of my son. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is making me nervous. So anyway, I watched it. Luckily, it didn't repeat what happened with the Challenger. But it led to my question. My long story short, right? Not so much short, is if you had the chance, because I guess the idea eventually is to make this a vacation. So rather than getting on a plane, would you go to space? So well, it's my kid's lifetime, probably more than mine, but instead of, for example, I'm going to fly a plane and go to the Bahamas for my vacation, would you go on a spaceship if it was available, normal-ish, kind of like planes are now, which they, you know, that was crazy 100 years ago, right? Would you basically get on a rocket if you had the choice and go out into space as your vacation? Or, I mean, the whole idea is some people to live and work and the whole bit out there. Is that something you would do? I'm not quite ready to do that kind of thing. I have to admit, it's great, and I'll see other people doing it, but that one kind of freaks me out a little bit. And again, maybe it's because in the back of my mind, the memory I have when I was younger of what happened with the Challenger. But anyway, would you go into space? I'm curious if people would. And it's funny because you'll hear people answer the question and you get so varied and back and forth, yeses and nos, and I would love to, and I'd be like, no, absolutely not, feet staying on this planet type of thing. So I'm curious what you would do. So everybody can answer the question. You know that how that works. If you want to be entered into the giveaway, just add the word trim and I will look for that. And then I'll do the giveaway for these. And that's the stitching stuff. I talked a lot this week, but I had a lot to say about my stitching. So I guess that's a good thing, right? You are here for stitching. Those of you who are not here for the life stuff, have a fabulous week. If you are still here, you are fantastic. Thank you. If you want to hear the life stuff, I'll try to make it brief. So we had a bit of not fun excitement this weekend. Sunday we went to my mother-in-law's. I celebrated Mo's birthday. Just, you know, simple, whatever. And for dessert, my mother-in-law always has the desserts, plus she also puts out fruit, because a lot of times that's all I eat for the dessert. And, you know, she had fruit, and she had the different types of berries and this and that, and then she had grapes and fruit salad type thing. So she was packing up the grapes because she was sending them home with us. and one of them dropped. And Shamrock is like, he pounces. If there's anything that ever falls on the floor, he pounces on it. And he pounced on it before she even realized he was there, and he ate the grape. Now, dogs and grapes, that was the one thing, you know, I was always like, oh, goodness gracious. So the first thing we do real quick is Google, is one grape gonna kill my dog? Well, I didn't put it like that, but you know what I mean. And I looked it up, and they said, well, big giant dogs, one grape's probably fine. Little dogs, it could be a serious, serious issue. So I call my vet. They're off on the weekends. It's a Sunday, but they have a, there's a number they give to a 24-hour emergency room for vets. That's what, if you have a problem with your animal, you take them to. So I call and I give the story. I'm like, he's 10 pounds. He ate a grape. What do I do? And the guy was very, very nice. He talked to the doctor and vet, and he came back and he said, okay, here's the deal. First off, we are packed here. So if you come, you're going to be sitting for a long, long time. What we can do is we can tell you what to look for and come in if you see anything. And he did preface that afterwards saying, but if at any time you're nervous, just come in. And if anything, you know, luckily that ER is 5 minutes, if that, from our house. So we said, okay, we're going to bring him home with the list of things to look for. And we could get him to the emergency room literally within 5 minutes if there was an issue. So that, I wasn't particularly worried about that. So we're watching him, and of course Shamrock, you know, who's one of them is lethargy, being lethargic, and Shamrock likes to chill and just relax. So we're like, okay, is it Shamrock chill or is it grape making him sick? So he gets through the day, okay, you know, whatever. And then at night, you know, obviously you're going to sleep, but, you know, between Mo and I, we get up decent amount of times, use the restroom, whatever. Now I'm sound asleep, and Mo wakes me up. He's like, is this normal for Shamrock? He's tired. It's the middle of the night. I go over to look. Next thing I know, Shamrock turns over on his back, lifts his leg, and wants me to rub his belly. I said, yes. Now that you've woken me up from a fast, deep sleep, this is normal for Shamrock. So anyway, and it's so funny because of the 4 of us in the house, he was the last one to say yes to a dog, because he never had one growing up, and it just, well, he's the biggest softy with the dog. He then spent the rest of the night laying on the floor next to the dog, just in case. So this way he could hear if anything happened with the dog. So anyway, Shamrock made it through the night. We went through the rest of the day, because it said 24 to 48 hours. But he was fine. Energy, eating, no problems, nothing. We gave it the 48 hours. We said, okay, he's in the clear. But anyway, that was an eventful 48 hours, making sure that this little dog didn't have a reaction to this grape that he ate. So they're our little children. He is our little child at this point. So he is spoiled in this house. And so anyway, he's okay. Everything looks fine at this point. I mean, it's been almost a week. So he seems to have powered through without any problems, but everybody is on alert to be careful with grapes from here on out, because I do not want to go through that again. So that's our big saga from the weekend. And then for the 2 nights, we didn't really sleep well because we were kind of checking on him, and it snowballed. It has snowballed completely at this point. But other than that, Connor started his new job this week. So he is out and about working, and he was put in a department that has a ton to learn. I think for a week he is just in orientation learning everything. So you thought you were going to have a summer vacation without learning. Little did you know. But he will know everything about Millworks and the Millworks department by the time he's done. So anyway, he is doing that and out and about. So that's good. I'm happy for him, because, you know, he was getting discouraged, but now he's got something that he can do. And other than that, that's about it. I haven't been back with my glasses. Oh, my glasses. So I do have to go back, because a lot of you said check the script. So what a great idea. I'm definitely going to do that. But you have to make appointments. You can't just stop in, which I get. So I just haven't been able to do that yet. These right here are my reading glasses. And I use those if I'm looking at the computer or, you know, cross-stitching or reading. So that's great. And I realized that the new ones, they work for driving, but nothing else. So then what I have are my old ones that they seem to work, well, except if I was trying to read real close, but they work for the in-between. So if I don't wear glasses, you're blurry right now for me. So there's an in-between between when I'm reading and reading glasses and distance with the distance glasses that if I tried to go about life, I would be in one big blurry blur. So these, which are the ones, my old glasses, in between life works with these. So if the doctor says, yeah, that distance script is exactly what we had called for, I think I'll just work within 3 glasses. The reading ones, the distance ones, and the in-between every day so I don't trip and fall or cut myself when I'm cooking or all that good other stuff that life has to offer. So that's the saga. We'll see how it goes. I'm hoping, but I am going to go to the eye doctor just to get things checked up, just in case. Who knows? And that's it. Okay. I hope you've gotten a lot of stitching done watching me this week because I rambled on quite a bit. And I'm thinking about everybody. I hope you're well. I hope you were safe. It's, ooh, a little burp there. I am just worried about everybody for environmental reasons, for health. I'm thinking about you, and I hope everybody is just keeping well. I'm keeping you all in my thoughts and thinking good, healthy thoughts for all of us so that we can get through this. So that is my wish for you, and I hope that in a few months' time we can be powered through this and things will be a little bit better. But anyway, I'm thinking about you, and I'm hoping you're getting lots of stitching done. And until next time, happy stitching.